Who that nation? How you doing? Come on in. Take a seat. Sit back. Relax. Put your feet up. Grab a drink and let's talk. Saint football. Y'all know what time it is. Time to keep it real. Family. Y'all see the man to my right. The one and only man. The one and only Kyle T. Mosley, baby. Representing his baby. The Saints News
Saints.
Network. Mr. Kyle, how you doing tonight, my brother?
What's going on, Dolph?
Man, been a minute, baby. It's been a minute. How you doing, man? I'm doing good
Look,
tonight, man.
I feel underdressed, man. Hold on. You didn't tell me you were
I
gonna
had,
have the fedora and everything.
hey, man,
Come on.
I had to dress for the occasion, man. I got the Saints News Work crew coming in, man. It was a special night,
Oh
you
man,
know.
I apologize. I still feel like I'm underdressed. You should have
It's all
hit me
good,
up to
baby.
let me know I would have put my suit on for you, baby.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm just following the advice you told me, baby. I'm just following the advice you told me. That's all.
I feel you.
How
I
you
feel
doing,
you.
my brother?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to see
I'm
you.
well, dude. Same here, man. Same here, man. Same here. Family, how y'all doing? Listen, Kyle's gonna spend a few minutes with us tonight. Listen, we even got the enemy in the house tonight. Shout out to my brothers over there, the Black Panther podcast, the Black Cat Panther podcast. Q, what's up? How y'all doing over there, my brother? Hey, y'all got Drock, y'all picked up Throckmorton, man. Y'all should be excited and real happy about that. Getting a great player, all future, all pro. Okay. Well, anyway, Kyle, listen, we're gonna get down to it. I know you got a busy schedule, my brother. Again, I appreciate you coming on, spending some
No
time with
problem,
us.
man.
First question, my man. Which moves did you not see coming that the Saints made?
Hmm. Probably the Roby release. That was the one that was shocking to me. Lutz all camp long was in a tight battle with Groupie,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if a lot of you guys know what if you ever seen Prince in Purple Rain. Remember when Billy told him, "Kiddo, it's either tomorrow night or else." That was
Right.
for Lutz. It was either tomorrow night or else, but he did not have to kick. But if you notice on that kick from Groupie, man, he still
Mm-hmm.
had the length. And Lutz has been struggling with his length, especially last season, coming back from that injury. So,
Yes,
and
sir.
also his kicks look truer. So, if I would say anything, it was the Roby release. I thought at least keeping him would solidify having some veteran
Right.
presence in the secondary. But Dennis Allen made a pretty gutsy move to be able to say Alante Taylor is ready for that role.
2 years in a row. Last
Yeah,
year it was CJ, and this year was Roby.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So they see something in the young guy, and hey, you got to roll with the youth sometimes.
And right now we're being joined by another member of the Saints News Network. This man also needs no introduction. The Bayou Bliss podcast is on. Saints News Network's on. Mr. Bob Rose. Bob, how you doing? Come on
I'm
in.
real good. I'm real good. I'm tired. I'm getting older by the second, and I'm going out of my mind. But it's a pleasure to join you. I thank you for having me on.
Don't
I'm
don't don't hear anything about him getting older there, Dolph. He
not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. Uh-oh. Now we're being joined by my brother. He just went off the air because it's Who That Nation United Thursday. Shout outs to the PRO Media Network. The one and only Hoodie Jube. What's going on, Hoodie?
how
What's
you
up,
doing?
Dolph? What's up?
I'm doing fine, my brother. Thank you for coming through, man.
No
Bob, I'm
problem.
gonna ask you the same question I just asked Kyle, man. Which moves did you not see coming that the Saints made?
Jalen Smith. And I think that's probably across the board would be my guess. I'm not going to tell you which one of us said it, but all of us agreed with it that we didn't know why that move happened. It was a heck of a gamble by Dennis Allen. Luckily it paid off because they got Jalen Smith back to the practice squad. And I think this man is going to be on the active roster sooner rather than later. He's such a good fit in DA's defense. Covers very well, moves the field very well, very aware against the run. So that was by far the biggest surprise move to me. I wish I could tell you that I was surprised by Traquan Smith staying on the roster, but sadly I am not. Same about Zach Baum. Bradley Roby. Bradley Roby was a guy that we all talked about being a potential trade candidate clear back before minicamp. I wish they were able to move him to get something for him, but I have a gut feeling that the Saints actually did Roby a favor and said, look, you're not going to get a whole lot of reps in our defense. Why don't we release you so that way you can negotiate to go to your own team rather than us trade you to the Arizona Cardinals of the world or something like that. I was a little surprised by Bradley Roby, but not drop dead shocked.
Gotcha. And family, we have just been joined by the one and only, the man that we are here tonight because of his generosity and his love. My big brother, the one and only, the Godfather, Big Q. How you doing, my brother? Come on in.
What's up, my friends? How y'all doing tonight, man? How everybody doing, man?
What's going on, Q?
What's up, brother Kyle? How you doing, brother Bob? How you doing, sir?
Real good.
Good to see y'all, man. Hoodie, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you, Dolph.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna ask you the same. Which one was the Saints made? You did not see coming.
I'm not gonna lie. Me and my bro just talked about it. Jalen Smith. He was a star. I was making fun of him.
Can you hear me? All right, QY Hoodie getting together. Same question to you, my brother.
All right. Biggest surprise for me, fam. I knew the Jalen Smith thing was gonna happen. Dennis Allen did this last year with Eric Wilson. And I was warning people. I was like, hey, I like what the Saints do in the off season, but when they flip to the on season, what is it going to look like? And I'm like, hey, man, remember, history kind of repeats itself, man. He did this same thing last year with Kirk Merritt and Eric Wilson. He picked Traquan Smith and Zach Bowen over those more productive players, and he just pretty much did the same thing. So I wasn't surprised by the Jalen Smith move. The biggest surprise was the Will Lutz deal. That kind of got me right there because big surprise because this is a guy outside of 1 year where the man was coming off an injury year, which he kicked 74, whatever it was, percent. He was looking good in the training camps and into the preseason. He was the other guy, Group A, shout out to Group A, was not blowing him away. These guys were like neck and neck. Now, to me, trading Will Lutz out of here, it's a no disrespect for Group A. It's a downgrade to a degree because you don't get rid of a kicker like Will Lutz for a stark raving rookie who you got to be patient with him. So if the man come in here and he kicks well, and then he start missing him, y'all can't chop his head off. You're a rookie. We got to be patient with him. So that one was the biggest one for me. And what I was thinking with the whole thing is I was like, man, this is a move to help out Coach Pate, man. You don't give up a top 10 kicker with one off year. And Bob did an excellent job, man. Shout out to the Saints News Network. He did a wonderful article on Will Lutz several days before the trade, highlighting all of the beautiful highlights. Not only that, but where he's ranked in the kicking statistics among the Saints greats. And we had Martin Anderson here. He was up there. So for the Saints to get a 7th round draft pick for Will Lutz, that's helping out Sean Payton, just like we traded the 3rd round pick along with Sean Payton out to Denver. It's a help Sean Payton move. So I mean, it hurts us to a degree because you remove Lutz out of the kicking room, and I still think he had a lot to give. But in the end, we just have to deal with it. That's just my take.
Okay. And family will be joined by the co-host of the Keep It Real That Sports Podcast, the one and only Coach Rock. Coach, how you doing today?
Hey, good evening, guys. I'm sorry being late. I got daughters, play so much sports, man. I'm all over the place in the evening. 2 play basketball, 1 play volleyball. So I'm all over the place, guys.
Got you. Hey, Q, that was you echoing, my brother.
Was it? Are you sure?
Yeah, it just came back.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, there it is. Then if that's me, I'm gonna see what I can work here, bro.
Okay. All right. Next question. Let's get it.
What we doing? Questions right now, dog?
All right. I'm on the question. Next question is where the Saints finds the Andrus Peat. And with this one, I'm gonna start with and we still echoing. Y'all still echo? Let me see. I think it's fixed. Okay. Kyle, start with you, my brother. Were the Saints wise to keep Andrus Peat?
Was it wise to keep him?
Yes, sir.
That offensive line is not looking really strong right now. There's not much depth to the offensive line. So to keep Andrus Peat, I think they were left with no other choice, to be honest with you. If you look at some of the guys, how they performed, that's one of the reasons why Throckmorton was released. You looked at even Mark Evans II, he's a backup to Andrus Peat, and he played fine, but he was having problems on those stunts. Saldivari was having issues as well. So to be able to have a starter still on the squad, still need to try to make sure he's healthy enough to play week 1. But I think they were left with no other choice to be able to keep Andrus Peat at this time.
Got you. Bob, same question to you, sir.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle. And, Hoodie and I just got done talking about this very issue on his show a minute ago. And Andrus Peat, you still have a bona fide starter, even if even if Hurts is going to start over him at left guard. You know that Pete could still give you some quality football when he's healthy. The problem is he hasn't been healthy. Injuries have hit this whole offensive line really hard the last 3 years. The starting 5, I think, is still a top tier unit. But depth, as Kyle pointed out, as we've written about at Saints News Network, all 3 preseason games. I mean, these guys were awful. At Max Garcia, he didn't earn a job, but he's there. Saldivari, you knew they were going to hold on to him because he's a rookie with developmental traits. Mark Evans the second, he has some nice developmental traits too. Andrus Peat is by far the most experienced and most established of this backup group. But most certainly, it's not a unit that makes you feel real good about going into the season.
Do we lose Dolph?
Randolph, your mic muted, bro.
Can y'all hear me?
No.
There you go.
All right, my bad, man. Hey, Coach, same question to you. I already know your answer, but go ahead.
Well, I told you I thought the Saints' run game was awful in preseason. I told you for money thing, saving some money, I would have released Pete and looked around, waiver wire, possible trades to getting better depth on the offensive line. I mean, for what they have, Pete is there, but I would have moved on from him and possibly looked the waiver wire, possibly see what's out there in the trade or whatever myself.
Who better than Pete right now, bro? That's not starting. Who? Now the one of them that's not starting is better than him.
Well, the whole offensive line is really weak, and I told you that the run offense is really horrible right now.
Okay.
So, like I say, I would have shopped around, waiver wire, possibly trade. Let's just look around and see what's out there.
Gotcha. Q, same question to you. Then Hoodie. Then we're gonna move on.
All right, Randolph. Is this an Andrus Peat question that you're asking, bro?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, man, I don't know if there's been a bigger supporter of that man except for me, bro. How his history was here. Like we talk about the history of Andrus Peat, how he came here as one position, then they flipped him to another position. But then when he was learning that position, they flipped him inside. Then he was learning that left, then they flipped him right, then back to left, and then when Teron Armstead went down, they flipped him to the left, the blind side tackle. So, I mean, he went through all that and still produced at a Pro Bowl level at the guard position. So I have respect for that. And I have a lot of respect for that. Now, outside of what he is now, you can't shake the injuries. The last several years, he's been really littered down with injuries. The Saints kind of reworked his deal. He got a 1-year deal. He was banged up. And James Hurst I like Hurst as a guard. I don't really, not too much as a tackle, but as a guard, he's better right now. But, it's interesting to see what Peat has. Can Hurst keep that starting job over Andrus Peat as he picks up all that experience that he has? I mean, it looked like they kind of leading him on out of here. But that's an interesting thing with Peat, man. It just looks like Hurst might have him for right now, bro. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I just need him to stay healthy, man. Because when he's healthy and he's doing this thing, man, I think there is no. I don't think Hurst will take his job. But right now the man just catching up. So I mean, right now Hurst got him, but perhaps, man, we'll see how it look going forward, man. Hopefully we can stay healthy, man. But I think it's tough for Peat right now, man.
Gotcha. Hoodie, same question. Then we'll move on to the next question on the board right now. All right. Hey, Hoodie, you there? All right, Kyle, let's move on. Know you guys got to get out of here soon. Will the Saints regret moving on from Bradley Roby?
No, they won't regret it. I just believe that Roby still was a veteran that gave them some depth there, veteran as well as a starter, right? But as I said earlier, they value what they saw in the young guy, and the other young defensive backs have been really doing well as in camp and, making some plays here and there. I just think it was one of those moves that, like Bob said, it could have been, hey, let's give Roby a chance, get some playing time with some other squad somewhere who really needs to have a cornerback. But it was time to be able to elevate Alontae Taylor to that position. I still have some questions about Paulson Adebo, but, it is what it is right now. We know Marshawn Lattimore is elite. So when it comes to the Roby situation, I just think it was one of those points of time in every team's life where you have to say, all right, do we keep these young guys suppressed and just waiting for them to rise up, or give them the opportunity? And I think Alontae Taylor is ready to embrace that opportunity.
Brother Bob, same question, sir.
I think they could regret moving on from Roby, but only if injuries hit. The reality was this, and I've said it all offseason, that the Saints had the best quartet of cornerbacks in the National Football League. But the problem with Bradley Roby was he was the fourth out of that quartet. Marshawn Lattimore, elite. Paulson Adebo and Alontae Taylor have both flashed very, very good traits. Roby wasn't going to get playing time over them. It was clear that they wanted to work Alontae Taylor into the slot, and there's going to be some growing pains there, but you want him on the field as much as possible. It's coaching 101. You want your best players on the field as often as possible. And, by bringing in Lonnie Johnson, by the development of Ugo Amadi, And by drafting Jordan Howden, they have other guys that can play the slot and play that hybrid role. So yeah, Roby added valuable veteran experience. But if all these guys stay healthy, Roby was also the odd man looking out for playing time. So no, on paper, you got to say that they shouldn't regret it. The only way they would is if injuries hit.
Right. Hey, family, there are 79 of us in here now. I ask that you hit that like button. Listen, we are live on the PRO Media Network, but we're also live on our channel, the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. I ask that you go over there. If it's your first time, subscribe, join the family, and come on in. Coach, same question to you, sir, then Q and Hildy, and we'll move on.
Well, that's the only thing I have to say about will they regret moving on from Roby. I really think the secondary is only good as the front four, the front seven. I think if the Saints defensive line get a lot of pressure, I think, we'll be all right. But if that front four don't get pressure, I don't know. I'm on a wait and see type thing with that.
Okay. Q, same question to you, my brother.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Bob and Brother Kyle on that one, man. Bradley Roby to me, man, and y'all know how my takes are, man. I think Bradley Roby, we gave up a lot to get Bradley Roby down here. Now, to me, I don't know. I mean, Bradley Roby kind of really didn't live up to what he was anticipating him to be. Like this guy's a veteran, who's supposed to me, do a lot more than what he gave us. And I would see like last year with him missing open field tackles, guys running through his arm tackling. It was just a lot of poor stuff that I seen from Bradley Roby. He's flashed and has some plays, but $3 million, I think he was over $3 million that he was making on a 1-year agreement in the fourth cornerback spot. I was looking at that and I was saying to myself, that's interesting. I'm see if the Saints stay with that. And then at the end of the day, I think what happens is with Bradley Roby is the Bob and Brother Kyle are right. If injuries happen there, you're more than likely you're gonna miss some of what he brings there. But outside of that, bro, it is what it is with the Bradley Roby thing, man. I'm not really surprised by that.
Hoodie, same question to you, my brother, and we'll move on. All right, Hoodie. All right, Hoodie might still be on the clock. All right, Kyle, coming back to you, man. Which player release surprised you the most? Would it be Roby?
Yeah. I thought it was Roby to me, and I understand Bob's premise as far as Bob. Who was it that you said that you?
Jalen.
I think it was one of those deals that they worked a deal behind the scenes with his agent, and he knew he was coming back, man. So look, all in all, Roby could be one of those wild cards where, like you said, if we have an injury or two that's going to happen in the first couple of weeks, the Saints may regret it. He has not been picked up by anybody. And after week 1, there's going to be a rash of injuries in the National Football League. So there's still an opportunity that Roby could come back to the Saints if they desperately need to have somebody in that defensive backfield. But I believe that Bradley Roby, to me, was the surprise release for the 2020 initial 53-man roster.
All right, Brother Bob.
I still go with Jalen. Now if Kyle's right and they cut a deal behind the scenes, which is certainly not unheard of in the National Football League, then you got to flip the switch and go Roby. Because to Kyle's point, you don't have to look any further than the New Orleans Saints. Last year, Paulson Adebo was hampered by an ankle injury early in the year. Year before that, Marshawn Lattimore broke his thumb in I believe it was the season opener. So if that kind of thing hits the Saints, then they'll regret moving on from Bradley Roby, to piggyback off of the last issue. When the initial releases came out, the individual player that I was surprised by the most, was Jalen Smith. And as I said before, thankfully they got him back. So whatever gamble Dennis Allen was taking, fortunately worked out.
Yeah, can I say this also?
Of course.
Can I say this also, that Roby was only making $1.7 million this season.
Okay.
So that wasn't a huge investment into Roby. And that's based upon overthecap.com Q that I just take a look at. But when you look at the scheme of things, Roby's I agree with Bob. He was the fourth guy, as far as talent wise, but you still talk about a veteran who's been around for 8 or 9 years. So that's the thing that concerned me, that they let him go, especially knowing, like you said, Bob, the rash of injuries they have had in that secondary.
Well, I say this. I think there's two kids we're not talking about that I think had something to do with it. One is Ugo Amadi, and the other one is Jordan Howden. I think
No
those
doubt.
two kids played a very important role in why the Saints felt even more comfortable of moving on from Roby. Amadi has been solid since OTAs, minicamp, training camp, preseason, and Jordan Howden has been the same. Coach, same question to you. Which player release surprised you?
I think they basically touched on it. It was
Okay. It's Roby.
It was Roby, yeah.
Okay. Q, how about you, my brother? Same, Roby.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not surprised by the Roby thing, man. Like I said, I don't have such a high opinion on the man game, but I mean, he is a veteran. We gave, like I said, it's what we gave up is the value. What we give up to get the guy here. Did he then give the game? Did he give that same value to us? Now he did fill in on some injuries when we had some things there, and he flashed on a few things, but I mean, who took his spot? What, Isaac Yiadom? I mean, is Yiadom is the guy? I mean, I know Ugo Amadi. What he's listed as a safety. He's what is it?
Yeah, safety, nickelback.
Well, is it Yiadom? Did the Saints see more value in Isaac Yiadom over a 10-year veteran cornerback? What was he, brother Kyle? Or what was he? What draft selection was he? Was he a third or fourth? Yeah, what was his draft selection when he came?
What was a first round pick, wasn't
he? Yeah, Roby was a first round pick by Denver.
First round in 2014.
Yeah.
And the Saints gave up high capital to get him in here.
Yeah, and to get him, they gave up a third. You're right.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. I don't see that as a surprise. The Jalen Smith thing, like a lot of the family members, the brothers, are saying the Jalen Smith thing. To me, it wasn't a surprise because Dennis Allen did this last year with Eric Wilson. So I mean, I kind of expected Dennis to do this. He kind of runs in patterns. But outside, I think, like, to me, it was the Will Lutz thing. I just didn't think that they would go that far to get rid of this guy after he got injured, had a 74.4%, what was it, kicking percentage, 1 year off. I got people telling me and letting me know and DM me telling me that the man ain't kicked good in years. You know what I said? You know what I said to that? Y'all know me. I said to them, what? Thank you for your comment. That's all I can say, man, because you talking about in years. Last year he was 74.4. The year before that he was hurt. He had core surgery. So he had to rework all that to get together. And then this year he was actually doing a good job of kicking. The story came out about the NFL agent saying the Saints made a mistake. And they kind of alluded to a lot of the stuff that Will Lutz wasn't too enthused about that. I don't know if he was kind of alerted to that, but I was surprised by that. I just think that, listen, man, Will Lutz just 2 years removed ago was one of the top kickers in the NFL. High accuracy, big game kicker. That means something when you go into the season and this guy needs to go into a building and kick for you. Fam, do we remember 2 years ago when he was hurt, we couldn't even kick field goals in the Tennessee Titans game? You remember how we lost? We missed 2 field goals in the Tennessee Titans game that helped us lose it. So kickers went to the carousel. We went to the carousel finding them. I know, Brother Kyle, that he ain't on the Lutz thing. Come on, Brother Kyle.
No. I want to bring some business sense to this deal, man. First of all, they save some money, right? Some pocket change there. Second thing is there was some questions about his confidence, and Lutz also remarked about his confidence as well. Remember, the same thing kind of happened with Garrett Hartley when he started questioning his own confidence in his kicking as well. Um, but also, you have to pay attention to Lutz's kicks was still kind of tailing a little bit. They still had that little wobble. Uh, the young man from Notre Dame's kicks were a lot truer. So, and you look at the statistics, I think John Hendricks charted these guys, and Lutz only missed 5 field goals, and the young man only missed 4 field goals in practice, right? But Lutz kicked more kicks. But what I'm saying here is this: when we brought Lutz on, he was a rookie as well. Q. Remember, John Harbaugh was the one who recommended him to Sean Payton because he was in a battle with the guy who's invincible at kicking, right? So nobody's going to displace him.
Right.
But it came to a point where I think this was a matter of, do we take some value in getting a draft choice for Lutz, getting that $2 million off our books as well? And I think it came down to some dollars and cents. Now, don't get me wrong. If the young man starts making some mistakes, Bob, you know this as well, they are going to start looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that's all it was, Q. I think it was just some dollars and cents. And also, guys, we don't know what's happening in that locker room. And I just think somebody started questioning his confidence as well. That's what I heard.
I appreciate you educating me on that. Let me just say this about the Saints cap situation currently listed. Over the cap got the Saints over $14 million right now. $14 million. Now, my perspective is this. A 7-round draft pick for a top 10 NFL kicker is pittance. There's 7 rounds in the draft. I mean, that's pittance. That's disrespectful. Now, I don't know with the headspace of Lutz in the game, but according to what the competition we was watching, it wasn't that far removed. I don't want to make too much of it. What I'm saying is, you mean to tell me, and this is how I think, not just you, Brother Kyle, I'm not talking to you, I'm just saying generally, is that guy good enough for Sean Payton, who created all this, but not good enough for Dennis Allen? You get what I'm saying?
Hey, point well taken.
All right, now.
That's all I was saying. Point well taken.
I'm saying that Sean Payton started all of this, and Sean Payton said, "Listen, Dennis Allen, I hooked you up. Now this just me, just going on my little stuff. Let me give you something for him. Well, don't make me throw Mickey in there, because I'll put Mickey in there in a second. We're going, why now, Q? But I'm just saying, it looks kind of funny there, man. But anyway, it is.
Man, look, Mickey made the call. Mickey could have vetoed that, right? Mickey made the call, and it went that way. Go ahead.
You're damn right I did, Kyle. Let me tell you something. I make that damn call. I'll do it again.
Yeah. Well,
all right, family, let's move on to the next question. Family, what should be the realistic expectation for this Derek Carr-led offense? Brother Kyle.
Okay, realistic as far as amount of yardage, points, what are we talking
yardage, about? Everything.
Oh, man, look, yards, of course, it's going to be over 4,000 yards. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be over 4,000 yards. I even project him to have over between 35 to 40 touchdowns if he's able to stay on the field, him being healthy as well. The problem with me with Carr has always been the same problem the Raiders had over the years. He cannot take care of the football. 81 fumbles. That's a lot for an NFL quarterback, and I think he leads the NFL in that time period as far as fumbling is concerned. And it's not Jameis Winston, guys. So anyway, I just think the offense is going to run a lot more to the conservative nature of Pete Carmichael as well as Dennis Allen. And the concern I have is more so now do we have any running backs that can really help support him going into the first 4 weeks when we are going to be without Alvin Kamara? So that's the concern now because Miller is kind of hampered. And all we know is Jamal Williams, and I know they signed Tony Jones Jr. to the practice squad, Bob. So I mean that's a lot for us to really go into the week one with only a couple of healthy running backs.
Bob.
Yeah, the running back position to start the year really concerned me too. We all know that injuries are the great equalizer. But health aside, I think that the expectations for this offense, led by Derek Carr, is top 10 minimum, top 10 in points and top 10 in yardage. Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, Pete Carmichael, they identified Derek Carr as the man that they wanted to lead the type of offense that they want to lead, which is a very quick-paced, timing-based offense. The one that we saw with Drew Brees. Now, I'm not saying Derek Carr is Drew Brees by any stretch of the imagination, but I will say that the offense around him has as much talent, almost as much talent as Drew Brees did in his prime. So all those into consideration, it comes down to two concerns: Pete Carmichael and the offensive line. If those two things hold up, if Pete Carmichael could be a competent game day play caller, and the offensive line can stay healthy and competent enough, then I think that this could be one of the better offenses in the National Football League. Should be one of the better offenses in the National Football League.
Yeah,
Hey,
Dolph, I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey,
Kyle.
Dolph, I apologize. I have to run, but I have to agree with Bob. I forgot about the offensive line, Bob, and the problems we're having. If they cannot sustain giving him at least 3.4 seconds in that pocket, you're going to have a problem. Carr is good down the field, but I think that intermediate area with Olave as well as Thomas, he should find some success early on in the season. Can it be sustained throughout the 17 weeks? We shall see. Guys, Dolph, thank you guys. Q, Hildy, and Bobo, thank you very much, guys. And Coach, see you later.
I appreciate it.
All right, the one and only Kyle T. Mosley family. Thank you, Kyle. As always, appreciate you. All right, Hoodie, we missed you last time, my brother. Same question to you. What should be the realistic expectation for this Derek Carr-led offense? Can't hear you. Muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. So what I was saying was basically anybody who watches my channel knows I'm very high on Derek Carr, and especially this offense. And just like Bob and them both said, if the O-line holds up, and everybody's worried about Pete Carmichael, right? But I tell people this: we all wanted him gone. We all wanted Dennis Allen gone. Well, Dennis Allen got his quarterback, Derek Carr, who can run a West Coast offense. Last year, Andy Dalton and them cannot do that type of offense for us. Second of all, Andy Dalton is not as talented as Derek Carr. Can't run a West Coast offense. Can't, call audibles at the plays if you need him to, call out the blitzes that like Derek Carr does with the West Coast offense that he ran his whole career. So now Pete Carmichael can open up the playbooks more. Last year, you was limited with the playbook. So that's why he probably looked a little rusty, and you looked at it. And I tell people this: it's pretty shocking that you was limited on offense last year with Andy Dalton. You couldn't run the West Coast offense. You had no Lattimore for 10 games on the defensive side. You had injuries occur on that side, too. You had injuries on offense. No Michael Thomas for the rest of the year. One game, we played the Cincinnati Bengals, lost to them, I think, by a field goal. And your number one receiver was Rashid Shaheed that game because Chris Olave missed because of a concussion. No Michael Thomas on the field. So, and we still, as the New Orleans Saints, to finish 7-10. And that was Dennis Allen's best record as a head coach. Just think if we didn't have injuries and we had a quarterback that can run the West Coast offense and Michael Thomas and all this never got hurt, right? So I think with this Derek Carr knowing the West Coast, you can open up the playbook more with him on the offensive side. And, you know, with all the depth pieces now, like if somebody goes down, I think the next man can step up, especially at receivers. You know, we stat running backs, we stat tight ends, we stat, you know, it's just the O-line that we all wrote about. If all of that holds up, I cannot see why not this offense at the minimum has a top 10 and not be in the top 3, top 5 offense, because there's going to be a lot of defense that's going to be scared to guard this offense in the red zone, especially when you got all tight ends on the field in the red zone. You got a Jawan Johnson, a Foster Moreau, and a Jimmy Graham in the red zone. Like, who's stopping all those big bodies?
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. Q, what's your thoughts, my brother?
Yeah, my brother. I think this offense here, man. I'm thinking this something special here, bro. I don't think we ever seen anything like this, man. I was talking about this on the stream the other day, fam. Remember when Michael Thomas was healthy, man, and he did all these fantastic things, set the single season catch record. That's something that stood for what, 15 something odd years when Marvin Harrison did it for the Colts. Only thing I think about all of the stuff that Michael Thomas has. He's healthy now. He has a compliment in Chris Olave there. What was his best compliment when he was here? What, Traquan Smith? I mean, when he had to do all that, he was double team, triple team. I mean, but this is out of all the all-time great offenses that we had with Coach Payton here, that we've seen with Drew Brees and everybody. Could you imagine? Just think about all of that, and just think about, even if you span across NFL history. I mean, this is something phenomenal. The tight end room that's unbelievable, man. That's every one of those dudes do something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ja'Marr Howard is going to be something special. Jimmy Graham, like Bob said, I don't expect him to be Jimmy of yesteryear, but still very good. Taysom Hill, the utility knife, you can move all over the place. Elvin Kamara and Jamal Williams is Elvin Kamara's compliment. Kendre Miller's there. I mean, it's just phenomenal what they have, man, and this could be something very special. So I'm thinking maybe a top 10 offense right here. I think Derek Carr, man, if it works out, to be honest with you, Dolph, man, we're looking at this 4,000 plus yards, man, with everything he has. And of course, this is all encapsulated within good health or reasonable. We keep these guys healthier at the main positions. And offensive line is the big sticking point here. You know, how does the offensive line open up the run holes to kind of set everything? You know, how, you know, getting the play action going. So, yeah, that's a big sticking point. The skill rooms are beautiful, but can our offensive line kind of keep it together, man? So we'll see. But I'm encouraged.
Right. And like Coach just said earlier, the offensive line has been a problem this preseason. If you go to that first Chiefs game, you take away that one run that Elvin had, the rest of the game, they were averaging, 1, maybe 2 yards a carry, if not the ball carrier getting hit in the backfield. So the offensive line definitely needs work. But like I said last show, we're not the only ones. Every team around the National Football League is feeling the same thing. Backup offensive linemen. The starters are good. A lot of cool with their starters, but it's the backups. A lot. It's just lacking right now. I don't know what it's from. I don't know if it's from less reps and practice. I don't know. I don't know what it's from. Coach, you want to say something before we move on?
Nah, man, I just kind of piggyback off what Bob said about the line. But Bob, I want to ask you one question. If you noticed what I noticed in Trevor Pennington, when there's a in with quickness and widens out, Pennington's feet is kind of bad towards a real quick pass rushing in. Did you notice that in the preseason games?
Coach, I've been watching Trevor Penning a lot, especially in pass protection, because I know that's everybody's concern. Trevor, for a big man, he has good feet. But right now he's not moving real fluidly to deal with those outside rushes. I think that's going to, physically, I think he has the skills to do it. But right now it's going to take, mental confidence, and repetition. That's why I think there's going to be I know there's going to be some growing pains as a pass blocker early on. But if you're asking me, do I think he has the talent to develop into a good pass blocker? Yeah. But right now it's not there yet. And I see the same thing with the feet that you do, but I don't think he has heavy feet. He's not an Andrus Peat or even a James Hurst when JH struggles that way. I think he's a good enough athlete to pull it off. He just needs more reps, to get out and deal with that edge rush more fluidly. That's all.
Okay.
Next question, family. Do you think the Saints youth movement has more to do with talent or finances, Bob?
Talent, no question in my mind. Let's go with this year's draft choices. Brisset, along with Shepard and Saunders, they had to revamp that entire defensive tackle spot. That position's been awful for 2 years. And then in Foskey, the second round pick, you weren't going to pay Marcus Davenport a lot of money to stick around, not as much as he was underproducing. And you're looking at Cam Jordan's age, now 34 years old. You needed to get a talent upgrade around him. Kendre Miller. We all know how bad the Saints backfield was behind Alvin Kamara last year. That's why they were so limited in the way that they could use Kamara. So that bringing in a versatile back, an explosive back like Kendre Miller makes ton of sense. A.T. Perry, Michael Thomas, too. I think it was UQ that made the point. Back in 2018 and 2019, Michael Thomas and Kamara were the only receiving options that they had. So they've been looking for talented wide receivers for what it feels like forever now. Jordan Howden. The last couple of years they've lost Marcus Williams, Malcolm Jenkins, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, PJ Williams. So they had to bring in a versatile defensive back in Jordan Howden, and Jake Haener. I think one of the biggest mistakes, maybe the biggest mistake of the Sean Payton era, was towards the end of Drew Brees' career, is you started to notice a decline. He didn't bend over backwards to try to find a potential quarterback replacement. I know Jake's only a 4th round draft pick, but the scouting department did a great job. They identified what DA, and especially what Pete Carmichael wants for his offense, the traits that he wants a quarterback to have. They saw those traits in Jake Haener, and they went out and got him. And even in their free agency moves, Saunders, Shepard, all well under the age of 30. Jamal Williams coming off his best season. He's only like 28 years old. And even looking back last year, Trevor Penning, Chris Olave, all those were talent upgrades at positions of need. So anybody that says the Saints are rebuilding through the draft, bullshit. They're retooling and they're filling positions of need. So this is way more to do with talent than finances.
Right. Same question to you, Q.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Bob on that, man. The first time I heard him curse.
Bullshit.
I gotta agree with him on that, man. He got it dead to right, bro. I can't follow that, bro. Yeah, next.
I got you. Coach, got anything to add to that, my brother?
Nah, Bob hit it on the head, man. We keep moving.
On the head. What about you, Hoodie?
Well, I mean, I think for the next question, you should let one of us go, because Bob's going to take all the answers. Bob knows everything about it, So basically, I agree with Bob. It's just the talent, and a lot of people thinking, financially, but I mean, you still got to think we still got a nice, good amount of cap space, but I think we made decisions because of, like the Will Lutz, situation, just to kind of, cap off go back to what Big Q was saying, like he was kind of upset about that too. And I totally understand, why we upset, because me and Bob talked about it earlier on the show. We was like, if we in win now mode, why wouldn't you go with the veterans, right? Why wouldn't you go with a Blake Gillikin and the Will Lutz? But Bob Rhodes also touched up on it, and they said, Will Lutz was going on his last year of the contract, right? So you save a little bit of money as well. And Blake Grupe, who's younger, who's way younger than him, was competing and was doing just as good as him. So that's why they, went with it. I don't think it was financial. I think it's because he was just competing. Now, if Blake, was missing half of his field goal because he's not, up to par, wasn't NFL ready, we would have kept Will Lutz and would have never traded him to Denver.
All right, cool. Again, family, I want to welcome everybody to Who That Nation United Thursday live on the PRO Media Network. I'm Dope 17. That's Coach Rock. He's Bob Rose. He's Hooded Jew. and the Godfather himself is in the building, baby. Big Q. We are the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. We ask family that you come on over, like and subscribe and share on your social media platform. The Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. You see it on the ticker right there, baby. Do yourself a favor. Come join the family and come on in. Next question. Next question for everybody. And it's the last question. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming here. Thank everybody in the chat. This question is, finish this statement. The Saints win the NFC South and advance deep into the playoffs if Q, I'm going to start with you.
All right, let's get that. Finish statement. Saints win the NFC South and advance deep into the playoffs. If. All right, well, man, health. If they're healthy, man, you know that we got to go with that, and they got to execute, man. Health is a big part of it, man, but they got to execute, man. You know, it's a lot of questions, man. I'm tempted to hit that Glenn Jones on them, man, but yeah, it's health and execution is a big part of it, bro. So I'm gonna go with those.
Okay, Coach.
If the offensive line can come together and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mr. Bob Rose. What you got, Bob?
First of all, I think the Saints do win the NFC South. I think they win it by Thanksgiving, and I do think they go deep into the playoffs. But yeah, if we're going with the question, if I'm going to go, health, obviously. Offensive line got to stay healthy. This linebacker, Demario Davis, got to stay healthy. Michael Thomas, he's a difference maker if he's going to stay healthy. So I'm going to go a little bit. I'm going to point the finger at the man pictured above the question. Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, they're attached at the hip. If these men can coach, can do a better coaching job than they did last year, in other words, just stay out of their own way. Dennis Allen cannot be overly conservative. Pete Carmichael's got to open up that playbook. So if those two things happen, and obviously the team has to stay healthy, and especially in those key areas that you guys mentioned, if the coaching does their job, I think this is a Super Bowl team.
Wow. Okay. Hoodie, same question to you, my brother.
Yeah, so I think the Saints are gonna win the NFC South regardless. And by the way, I think we're gonna advance deep into the playoffs if this offense and the defense, because don't forget we got a lot of new key role players, new addition, and it starts with one word: chemistry. Can they get this chemistry together? If they can form a good chemistry, very quick. Yes, we're gonna to go deep in the playoffs because you'll have that chemistry from day one. If we come out executing like we seen in the Chiefs game in that first drive by the starting offense, if we can start off like that and see our starting defense start off like that, making people go 3 and out just like that, oh yeah, we're gonna be going for. And health is the same thing, like everybody else said. They already took it. Health, you got to stay healthy.
Right. I wrote the question, and it's basically saying health, offense, defense, and line, and no significant injuries to the quarterback, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Pete, Tyrann Mathieu, Brian Breesy. And I think we got a chance if we stay healthy, family. Well, look, Bob, I know you got to go, man. You stayed a little low. I was trying to get you in there, them 30, man. But look, I appreciate you so much, my brother, as always, for coming through, man, and staying with the family, man. Even I know it's a little bullshit, but it'd be
Brendan Boylan, my co-host on Bayou Blitz, he's so worried I'm going to drop an F-bomb. When we do our halftime shows every single week, so far I've held off from it. But I try to keep it as PG-13 as I can. But you guys that know me, that have chatted with me privately, I let those F-bombs fly.
Right. Yes, sir. But again, my brother, thank you again for coming through. We appreciate you. Family, let's give a big applause to the one and only Mr. Thank you, Bob. Have a good evening, sir.
Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, Who That Nation. Yeah, go ahead, Hoodie.
I didn't say nothing.
All right. listen, we got some family members want to come in and ask a question. We got a few more minutes. Want to come in and ask Q, Hoodie, Coach, and myself some questions. One of them is Crying J Live, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it in the link. Put the link
Oh
in.
no!
Yeah,
I'm getting off. I'm getting off. Bye.
Yeah, we're gonna let Live come on in here. Uncle Jerry, for y'all who didn't see the show the other night, I want to once again salute my brother Jerry, the OG. We call him Uncle Jerry.
Hey,
Uncle Jerry did a public apology to his really favorite player, Traquan Smith. It was lovely. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor.
God.
It was wonderful.
Hey, Dolph, is Q still on with us?
Yeah, Q here. Yeah, he's there.
Hey, Q, got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
Do you think the Saints have added enough depth at the linebacker position?
You know what, Coach? I think they need to minus one guy. And, I think we definitely need to add a little bit more help. I'm not a believer in Zach Bond. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm not. Demario Davis. You know what's crazy, though, with the Saints? We were saying that all offseason, fam, because it was very, it was very eye-opening. You can look at the linebacker room and say, man, you know what? Pete Werner has injuries. He's had injuries before. DeMario's been the model of consistency, but he had that calf issue. As soon as that happened, the Saints, they looked at Barr, came back and brought Jalen. And then he outplays Zach Bond, but Zach Bond makes the roster. That's very, very interesting. So, yeah, Coach, I think they can definitely need a little bit more help at the linebacker position. No disrespect to Nephi Sewell and the rest of those guys, but, I'm an experienced guy. I like guys with experience.
Right.
Hey, Big Q.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's down with y'all, baby?
What up, J Live? Hey,
J Live, sir.
Hey, Big Q. I did have there's something to to piggyback off of you. I did
But
ask
you can
Ross
ask me,
Jackson.
Eddie.
No, it's nothing to ask. It's just just to piggyback off of Big Q. About the Zach Bond. I did talk to Ross Jackson on Twitter the other day, and I asked him. I said, "Yo, what you think it is? Like, why is Jalen Smith being released and then getting signed to the practice squad while you got Zach Bond making it when damn well the only way we're gonna use him really good is just to rush him off the edge. He ain't no cover linebacker." And Ross Jackson said the only reason why this young man makes the team, just like Traquan Smith, is because this dude is amazing on his special team, and and that's his spot. They love him on special team. They love how he plays on that side, and they said then they use him as a linebacker if needed. But that's why supposedly they keep him, just like Traquan, right? We asked why is he always here even though he's never on the field because he's hurt or he never comes in big time clutches. It's because whenever he's healthy, supposedly he's like one of the best blocking wide receivers on the team. So
I ain't no suppose
that's what I was told by Ross Jackson. It's mainly because of special teams. He said, but he thinks that Jalen Smith is gonna get brought up to the roster soon. Anyway, so.
Hood, I appreciate that, bro. I mean, I much love to Ross, man. I love what Ross is doing, man. Smart brother. And listen, fam. We know everybody that watch football know it. We know that's this politics, this football politics, fam. Y'all know that, man.
Right.
Traquan Smith, now listen, Traquan Smith, man. Y'all know how I stand on Traquan Smith. Dolph ain't gonna like to hear this. That's his cousin. I ain't gonna talk about the man's cousin. I ain't gonna talk about Dolph's third cousin, man. But what I'm gonna say is, bro.
Right, you're on the 53, baby.
But I tell you that I said he was gonna make it. You can't Uncle Turn me on that when I was like, man, that dude gonna make the roster, bro, because I know Dennis Allen know how they operate. But nah, man, Traquan Smith, we seen Shaq these guys. Okay, I'm getting a little echo. We get Traquan and the rest of these guys making out this blocking thing about them blocking really well on special teams, man.
That was Wallace.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. All I know is that this same thing happened. It just seems like nobody could unseat Zach Bond. He's invincible. I mean, Eric Wilson played better than Jalen Smith played last preseason. Fam, Eric Wilson was really good. He was cheap, so they couldn't say he was expensive. You know what I'm saying, Coach? So they couldn't say the man was expensive. He was cheap. And they still put him on the practice squad. And then the fact that we got to say he's going to be brought up from the practice squad back to the active roster. I got one question. Why?
Right.
Why? It's football politics, fam. It happens every year. It happened last year. No surprise.
Okay, we got to OG Jerry's Jones, and also he's in the building. Wallace, what's up, baby?
What's up, fellas? Man, I love to
As
hear
we
this, bro.
proceed to give
I
you
love to
what
hear
you
this.
need.
Big Q. All y'all boys
17.
like this, man. I like this, bro.
Hoodie Juby. The legendary Coach Rock. Slim South. You can have whatever you like.
Hey, dog.
Oh,
Hey, dog.
y'all
Way
unison with
down
that,
in the
Hey,
jungle
dog.
gym.
Yes, sir.
I got
Badass lion step on a
another
sanctified.
question before I get out of here, man. And it's for Q and for Hoodie. Pete Carmichael. My thing with I was trying to understand what was what's your boy I was coaching the Raiders came in twice for the camp.
Jon Gruden.
Jon Gruden.
Gruden. Why was Gruden brought in kind of when it was Pete Carmichael's offense? What was really his role to help? And I noticed that Curry called some of the plays. Do you think Dennis Allen is kind of shaky with Pete Carmichael as his OC, and he's looking for other people to help him out to kind of get a better grip on his offense or whatever?
I mean, to be honest with you, Coach Wright, I mean, just to kind of answer that question, because I heard about this too. I forgot who I was listening to. It was it might have been Nick Underhill or something I was listening to. They was talking about this, and they like, so why would Jon Gruden be here?
Right. I didn't understand that.
Helping Pete Carmichael. And we like,
right.
Why? Well, they told us was Derek Carr had his best career season under a guy like Jon Gruden, especially with the offense they run the West Coast, and there's certain plays that really made Derek Carr that season. MVP conversation, Derek Carr. And they said basically bringing him in, they are basically picking Jon Gruden's brain, and he's basically telling them what Derek Carr is really good at and what he's really going to succeed this offense in, to where they can know Derek Carr better, because none of them really coached Derek Carr besides Dennis Allen for a little bit.
If I could say this to you, Hoodie, I get that part what you're saying, but Gruden mind and Carmichael minds are two different minds. So what Gruden sees offensively, Carmichael may not see from a perspective of play calling. So that's what kind of puzzled me. You brought him in. I get the part about helping Carr, but Carmichael's the one calling the plays.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to basically pick from his brain, like whatever he doesn't see, Gruden's trying to show him, and trying to say, hey, this is what I see from my side. But also, don't forget, Pete Carmichael can be a really good play caller too. He helped Drew Brees and him during the Bounty Gate, and he did good. So I think he's just basically picking the guy's brain and all that. And this, to be honest, to kind of touch off of that too, I told everybody this. I said, once Jon Gruden gets everything situated with the NFL and gets, his hands on everything, and they allow him to come back to coaching, I wouldn't be shocked if he's back over here as an assistant head coach, helping out right next to Pete Carmichael calling offensive plays. And I would not be shocked if it's like mid-season that happens.
Let me tell y'all this here. Let me tell you this here right quick.
Yeah.
You know who I think stepping in gonna be the call the plays? Our referee, our receiver coach. Don't be surprised he have his hand in it too. See, they all gonna step in and help Pete Carmichael this year. Everybody gonna step in, believe that.
Hey, wow.
The wide receiver coach, and there gonna be some more motherfuckers in there.
Q, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Coach. And listen, man, that whole thing, bro. Listen, Coach, you're a coach. You know what time it is. Man, coming down. Man, for years. Who knows Sean Payton's system better than him? And then if he can't and listen, bro, it's all, and I see what they're saying. I see the cover story, because the Saints do have the little politics in the games that they play, the little cover stories. If it was all about that the first time around, and I'm not disparaging anything these guys are saying. I'm a guy, I'm an instinct guy. I pay attention to the optics, and I'm a history guy. We know that the Saints you kind of repeat their behaviors. Remember how they brought Dennis Allen back when he got fired from the Raiders. You had a whole nother defensive coordinator here at the time, and Dennis Allen came here, and the Saints created a position for him and made him what, a defensive special or a defensive assistant, whatever it was. But we knew what time it was. We knew eventually that they would march. What was it? Rob Ryan. Rob Ryan was the guy at the time.
Rob Ryan, Santa Claus.
They would march him right up out of here, and that's exactly what they did. So, you know, Jon Gruden, bro, he did have Carr under him. They had the most success. Jon Gruden got a lot of funny business going on, the lawsuit and everything. The Saints not scared of that, man, like everybody else is. They got that dude came in here. He came in here with his QB coach or QB school or whatever little gear he could wear, or he could have came in with anything. The Saints had that man decked down, hat, shirt, socks, you know, everything, optics and everything. So, you know, he probably had on the floor to leave underwear to go along with it. Just put on all the things right there. But I mean, to me, Coach, he did sprinkle some game on him. They didn't let him. I noticed the media couldn't touch him. Like he stood far off. They took pictures of him. They didn't get the pictures the first time he was here. The second time he was here, they kept him far away from the media so he couldn't ask questions. I think that might have been something loose, lawsuit related. But best believe, Coach, you know and I know, the guy got a Super Bowl ring. He's the most accomplished guy in that offensive room if they do bring him in. And eventually, you know, and Pete Carmichael, man, remember Pete Carmichael didn't want the OC position originally. Remember, he wanted to work in a lesser role. And then they started interviewing all these wide receiver coaches and all this stuff. And then he stepped up and said, I'll take it. But, you know, like I said, he is the guy that's on the hook for this. From what my understanding is, Ronald Curry, the passing game coordinator, Pete Carmichael, and Carr are all supposed to group together, and they all supposed to be the brain trust for the offense. And I think when, like Hoodie said, I agree with Hoodie. Once his stuff clear, and I think what is it, Hoodie, in October when he goes to court against the NFL.
I think so. It's coming
in
soon.
October, when all that gets freed away, bro, the Saints they're going to definitely bring that man in. So I think it's more like that Dennis Allen assistant thing that happened previously.
Okay.
Right. Well, family, listen. This go bring the show to an end. I want to thank the panel. I want to thank Slim South, J Live. You should have been in here. So.
Yeah, I was in here long enough, bro. And you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying nothing, but I'm saying something. You heard me? God damn, bro, we just got on. You talking? What time is it?
Well, hey, Jerry G, you've been in the chat all night starting shit. So you know, I gotta go get my baby. I gotta get my dog anyway. But look, man,
I hear you, bro. My dog on the way home too. She had a game today.
Shout out to Big Q, man. Again, my brother, thank you for
appreciate it.
Big dog, you clean as a motherfucker right now, boy.
Appreciate all that.
Jack in the box. Pop in, pop out.
No, you is clean, brother. You going out tonight or something,
bro?
You clean, boy. What the hell?
Yeah, dog. You think you on skate away? What's up? I see you, dog.
Don't pull out that half a pint of Hennessy out your back
pocket. Going to sleep.
trying to dress for success, man. Trying to dress for success, man.
Man, dog grabbing the keys as soon as he get off phone with y'all, bro.
No, I know why he dressed up.
Hey, man, listen,
boy, no, clean, boy.
Celebration mode.
Nigga, dog think he fucking slick. Well, I know where you at, dog. I know. It's Thursday night, baby.
My cousin Traquan told me, speak up a bit for Jerry.
Here we go.
Yeah, you got us all, because all us thought Traquan Smith was gonna be gone. So you got all of us.
Except for Dolph and J Live. Except for Dolph and J Live, baby.
Everybody. Look, so do your thing, dog.
Thank y'all for being here. It was a great night. Again, shout out to Bob Rose and Kyle T. Mosley. Again, Q, thank you, my brother, for providing us with this opportunity on your platform.
Got to say one time.
Man. Thank you,
Big Q.
Yeah, Q, bro.
Big Q. Let me ask you something.
Y'all need to start checking out Saints after dark.
Yo, Q, can you hear me, Big Q?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Slim.
Man, when we gonna start talking boxing? When we gonna start talking boxing again, brother?
Hey, this weekend, bro. This weekend, one of our writers from WhoDatDaily.com just penned an article about maybe a half an hour ago about Errol Spence activating the rematch clause against Bud Crawford at 154. There's no timeline on when the fight is supposed to be.
That's gonna be a lot better, bro. He was drained that last fight, bro. That wasn't even the same era.
All right, lie. He was drained. He got his ass drained.
Hey, bro, yeah, he was drained. Look, I ain't saying
let me say something before I get out of here, bro. Let me say something.
But Big Q, always good seeing you, brother. Always good seeing you, my man.
Yeah, always good. Look, man, you always welcome back.
Look, check this out, fellas. I want to let y'all know something, bro.
Coach Rod.
I'm gonna be at the game October the 1st, right? When Tampa Bay come down here, and I like to meet all of y'all, man, in person, bro. So if y'all can make it to the game October the 1st, bro, I will see y'all there, man.
All right, bring your own liquor.
I started talking about that last week, man.
Break out that grill. Start grill some meat.
The tailgate, man.
Hey, you go with live, you partying, baby.
Do it big.
The party's over. The party's over with J Live.
Look, Hoodie can bring
No, man. Look, y'all come over to Saints after dark, man.
Bring the music.
It's straight raw. You heard? Saints after dark, you heard? Don't think his ass slick. You leave that house you want to.
Keeping it real with that sports pod, legendary Coach Rod. Those 17. Let's rock. Who that? Boss kick. Black and gold. Let's go. First and goal from the one. Best believe we go punch. Punching in, get them punch. With them Saints, watch us march. Down the field, down your throat. Keeping it real. Who? The sports. Breaking news, interviews. Open lines just for you. Call in, John in. Pale Nation, just win. B.I. Mount Zion, Coach Green, oh my.